Am I the asshole for calling my coworker creepy and gross and getting him in trouble? So I'm 23 female and I started this job a few months ago. I'm the only woman in our department of about 30 people. This one guy 50s male has been telling me about all the younger women he's slept with and making insinuations towards me. He kept telling me how he pleasures women. I tried to be nice and ignore it. I tried saying I wasn't interested and he just kept going. Finally I lost my patience and snapped at him. I told him he was creepy and gross and that I was never going to be interested in some old man 30 years my senior. Management overheard and pulled me aside to find out what happened. I told them about his comments to me and he was written up for sexual harassment. This is his second write-up. The first was for injuring someone. He's been at this job a lot longer than me and now half the department is angry with me because he is about to be fired and they think it's my fault and the other half are on my side. They said I didn't have to be such a bitch about it, and that he's like that with girls he finds attractive and I should be flattered, and I shouldn't have yelled at him because now management is involved. Work is really uncomfortable now because half of our department doesn't want to work with me. And #X200B. ETA they're also pissed that all of us have to go to sensitivity training now. Thank you for all the support. I am going to keep in mind what everyone is saying and I won't tolerate being bullied. Just as a clarification, Mr. Creep's first write-up was for injuring someone. He was pushing a large server enclosure too fast and not watching where he was going and ran over someone, injuring them.
Not the asshole. Congratulations, you stood up for yourself and refused to tolerate sexual harassment. You should be proud of yourself. And shame on your coworkers who actually said you should just tolerate it and feel flattered. What are they, living in 1950?
Not the asshole. That was sexual harassment and that can't be tolerated. Your coworkers are in the wrong for being accepting of that behavior.
Not the asshole, and you should report every single comment you've gotten from the others directly to our. It sounds like this company is overdue on cleaning out all these garbage people.
Not the asshole. This is like a skit for sexual harassment training. You didn't start this and the results are not your problem.
Tell your coworkers that it is not flattering when a strange man 30 years older than you talks to you about how good he is at pleasing women. It is revolting. Gag retch spew. Not the asshole.
Not the asshole. Not sure what is and isn't legally part of sexual harassment or whatever where you live, but I cannot wrap my head around the idea of flattering a lady by recounting past sexual encounters with others. Seriously. And you did nothing wrong by standing up for yourself. And if I didn't misunderstood, you didn't even explicitly report him. You don't have to cover for a dude that has been ignoring your discomfort.
Not the asshole at all. Those comments are gross and creepy and he should get in trouble. It doesn't matter how many or few women there are in your workplace, there's ethics in the workplace and he violated them. JFC absolutely. Unequivocally not the asshole, not the asshole, not the asshole. This reaction is exactly why women try and play nice and don't tell anyone. This guy is being a fucking creep and you're supposed to be flattered by this. Pretty sure if this happened to one of their daughters or mothers or wives, they'd think differently.
Not the asshole. He should know what he's doing is not allowed. He sounds like HR's worst nightmare.
Not the asshole, you're a fucking hero. You didn't get him written up, his sexual harassment of a colleague did. Flattered? Fucking apologists. They're not worth your time. You're better off working with the half that actually respect women and want to help you. Anyone who doesn't take harassment seriously won't take your career seriously, either.
Not the asshole. He deserved to be fired and the staff need that training, and a more balanced workforce. Make a note of all incidences where you are being verbally abused. Time, date, who, what was said. You may need that later. Stop trying to be nice to creepy men. It doesn't work and it won't help you. You need to start standing up for yourself. Draw a line early on so they know not to push your boundaries. There is a reason creeps go after younger women. Older women are more likely to take no shit and call them out. Why? Because they put up with it, realized that it just got worse and finally cracked. You are not a doormat. You are a warrior woman.
Not the asshole, you're never at fault for someone else harassing you. Him getting in trouble is his fault, and these are the consequences of his actions. You shouldn't have had to put up with it nearly as long as you did. I'd also suggest looking for a new job when, if you can, cause half your team obviously just enable such gross behavior.
I was sexually harassed and stood up for myself. Am I the asshole? Jesus Christ. Not the asshole. Everyone not on your side who acknowledge he actually did what he's accused of is the asshole, and depending how far they go with their defense, the attractive, flattered comment, for example, is likewise sexually harassing you. Report them too. Be Thanos and snap your HR gauntlet and remove the asshole half. Not the asshole. People like him get by for decades saying crap like that because women, especially younger, are afraid to stand up for themselves. Good for you. Fuck him, and fuck the coworkers on his side. I predict your company is going to protect you so you don't sue them into the Stone Age.
Not the asshole. Go back to HR and tell them what is happening. Tell them to make it stop, or you'll get a lawyer involved to make it stop. This is the time to put on the lady balls. You can do it.
Not the asshole, obviously. If they blame you for the sensitivity training, just tell them that they need it, because they should have stopped the creepy behavior. Next time, because, sadly, there will be a next time. If you want to go eye for an eye, talk about lady problems, period, infections, disease in graphic detail. Just interrupt them. That reminds me, when a girl I knew in college that would get their attention, graphic content, had the cottage cheese disease and had just chunks coming out of her. I tried to be nice and ignore it. Don't do that. He isn't being nice to you, so you shouldn't be nice to him.
Not the asshole. He did sexually harass you and you stood up for yourself. That's what you do in these kinds of situations. Not the asshole. If he didn't want to get written up for sexual harassment, he shouldn't have harassed you to the point that you had to yell at him to get him to stop. And all the people who say you should be flattered are way the awe.
Don't doubt yourself for a second. This toxic workplace garbage is ridiculous. My direct, much older, creepy bachelor boss told me that if my marriage didn't work out, he would love to step in. When he saw me at the Christmas party with my actual husband for the first time, he stopped speaking to me for 3 months. My actual direct boss. He continued to harass me for 10 years. Almost every woman I know has a story like this. It's ridiculous and it has to stop.
Not the asshole. And wow, a creep is right. You have done nothing wrong, so hold your head high. Hopefully this will settle and things will move on. In my experience of these things, over time the truth becomes obvious and people will come to realize for themselves what a creep he is. For now, get on with your job and know that this will pass. Oh come on, not the asshole times 100. You should be flattered? Seriously? OMG, it makes me mad just reading about this. Glad you called him out, glad you were rude about it, glad you told management when they asked. You did the right thing and should be proud. Ignore the other creeps being creepy about a creep being creepy.
Not the asshole. Tell them it's not flattering for any person, especially a coworker, who you have clearly expressed you're not interested, to not stop making you uncomfortable with sexual advances when you're at work and trying to do your fucking job. Not the asshole. Please update us in a few weeks after all the sensitivity training.
Not the asshole. I don't need to explain this one.
Ew. Not the asshole. Also, that's super toxic if coworkers are harassing you for him sexually harassing you. It's not a compliment, it's creepy.
How TF are you the asshole? Once a no is said, a no is said. Also, please don't try to creep or seduce your underlings, bosses. It's really unfair.
I think there's literally not a single you are the asshole in this entire thread, lol.
Not the asshole. Go back to management and ask why they didn't give you a copy of their anti-retaliation policy. That because they wrote this guy up, your coworkers are retaliating in ways that make continuing your position unacceptable. Good luck and F that creep and his friends making your work more difficult.
Not the asshole. Tell all the haters to give him their daughter's phone number. Not the asshole. They can all eat a bag of steaming hot dog shit. You should be flattered. Fuck no. You deserve to work in an environment where you aren't being harassed. When a male coworker says this to you, shoot back at them. If an older gay man was making these kinds of sexually suggestive comments to you at work, would you take it as flattery?
Not the asshole. If he didn't want to get in trouble, then he should have left you alone when you told him you weren't interested. He brought this upon himself by being perverted Jack at $.
Not the asshole. The other half of the department should be fired too, honestly. Especially the, you should be flattered, people. Not the asshole. And they wonder why women don't report men's for inappropriate behavior.
Not the asshole. They clearly need to have their asses handed to them. Hopefully it sparks some real change.
Not the asshole. Nope, if you really want to show them what being a bitch is, you should report every single one of the people who told you should be flattered by sexual harassment. You should request a mandatory sexual harassment meeting so everyone can learn what appropriate behavior is, because it seems like far too many of your coworkers have no idea. You had every right to get management involved, although even then you were prepared to handle it on your own and not involve them. They just happened to overhear. But they did the right thing. That's their job. Edit. I saw your comment about how they're mad they have to do a sensitivity training. Well, they can die mad for all I care. They clearly need it.
Not the asshole. Good for you for standing up for yourself. I have an 8-year-old daughter and I hope she has the courage to not tolerate this kind of crap. He's in his 50s. It's time to grow the F up.
Not the asshole. Good goddess, woman, dust off your resume. This is his second write-up? And he's still got a job? This company will never protect you, and that's proven by the fact that 2 separate individuals have felt uncomfortable enough to go to HR, and the company doesn't have the decency to get rid of someone who has a written history of harassing other employees. Name and shame please, and let others know who this horrible company is. Not the asshole. I'm so damn sick of the "you should be flattered" argument. Like, no, I'm not flattered, nor will I ever be flattered by a gross-ass man who can't take no for an answer or understand basic-ass social etiquette. If these men have an issue, it show their immaturity as toxic views on how to treat others. Just ignore them, they're a dying breed.
Not the asshole. You didn't get him in trouble. He did. He was the one who continued to sexually harass you. If his behavior had ceased when you politely declined his advances, there would never have been an issue. Your coworkers are not only victim blaming, they're being right assholes too. Leering compliments are never flattering. Especially after you've said no.
Not the asshole. Make sure to report every person that is creating a toxic work environment for you as a result of your initial report. This will be taken very seriously, as your initial grievance was for the utmost valid reason, and if it is not, then I would suggest getting an attorney and suing the company for a hostile work environment. Get all the assholes, they're fired. Their greasy, smelly knuckle-dragging asses don't deserve jobs anyways. Plenty of IT department out there that are not going to make you feel that way. Not the asshole. The half of employees that are upset are the reason why there are not more women employed there. You did nothing wrong. The sooner those employees, everyone realizing it, the better the work environment will be. His actions caused his write-ups, not you. Sounds like the whole place needs a sexual harassment training seminar.
That's how predators keep predating, that fucking wall of silence and shame. You did the right thing, for yourself and for all of us who couldn't or wouldn't. Not the asshole. Stay strong.
Not the asshole. That behavior is not acceptable and you should not feel flattered. That's disgusting.
I only read the first 2 sentences, but not the asshole. You're never the asshole for reporting someone who makes you uncomfortable. The people that whine the loudest about going to sensitivity training are the people that need it the most. Not the asshole.
Pro tip: remember all dates and times of incidents regarding the people who say you are being a bitch, and be as descriptive about the incidents as possible. Quote them as accurately as you can. If you can, because the culprits are not likely savvy on how the world works, ask them to repeat a comment they said to you in front of an allied coworker. Cowards will sulk and shut their mouths. Arrogant coworkers will be bold and need to talk to HR, or this becomes a civil rights case.
Not the asshole. My guess is that the only reason he's even being considered for termination in the first place is because he's clearly a screw-up and a liability to the company. I mean, the guy kept his job after injuring someone. What do you have to do to get fired? Flash the CEO while wearing nothing but a lucha libre mask.
Not the asshole. I am glad you stood up to him. He should know better. I don't understand those who are taking his side as he is sexual harassing you. And if they should be mad at anyone, it should be themselves, as they could have solved the problem without our giving him a write-up by saying, "Hey man, you are being inappropriate, stop it and leave her alone." But it is easier to blame the victim than take responsibility for what they didn't do to protect her. Hope sensitively training helps.
Ask the ones that don't agree with you if they think being sexually harassed is okay, watch them sweat. You're not the asshole. If he's about to be fired, maybe he should keep it in his pants and not be an old creep about it.